Hey, what's up, GW? Coming to you, like I said, at home, still sick, still got this virus, whatever. I thought I was on the road to recovery. Last night I was feeling okay. I went to go lay down and I was shivering and basically was up all night. So whatever this is, I mean, I wish it would just go away permanently. This sucks. But called the doctor and as you guys know, this crap's going around, but also thought I had a UTI. That is not the case. So thank God for one thing. So maybe it's just part of all this garbage. A few things I want to touch on because I'm home. Number one, you guys know I'm not at 100%. Number two, I want to talk about Gene Hackman just a little bit because that made the news. That was really huge. That deal. Um, I never had an opinion about him one way or the other. I know he was in a lot of stuff. He was in an Enemy of the State with Will Smith. He was in a lot of, 70s movies. But I know him more than anything as Lex Luthor from Superman 3. Which, before I go into that, you guys know Warner Brothers, their DVDs they're rotting. So I think anything from 2006 to 2010, you got DVD rot. They're going to willing to replace the DVDs for free. I don't know how all that works. I just know that was another big headline. And it seems like Warner Brothers is the only company that has had this happen to. But Superman 3, I think he played Superman or Lex Luthor in a lot of these movies. But Superman 3 is the one I remember. And whenever I was a kid, that was my favorite superhero movie, Superman 3. And I know a lot of people think it's the worst, next to Superman 4, which that movie sucks. Don't even go near that movie. But whenever I was a kid, Superman 3 was to me one of the greatest movies in history because of its special effects. I liked the story. Lex Luthor was trying to harness a satellite that control weather, and I know the story is bland and pretty awful by today's standards, but when you're a kid, you don't look at that. But it was also the same film where Superman fought Clark Kent in a junkyard, and this was prior years before Christopher Reeve had that accident and paralyzed himself. And it was just awesome because it was one of the first times I can remember seeing the same actor on the in the movie playing two different parts. And Superman, that Superman movie, Superman turned bad. You guys, if you guys don't remember, he put a hole in an oil tanker that leaked all over the ocean. He straightened the Eiffel Tower, which I still think is funny to this day. Um, he did a lot of crazy stuff. But Richard Pryor was also in that film, and I can remember Gene Hackman being, like I said, Lex Luthor, and that's where I knew him from. And then, of course, he was in that movie with Denzel Washington, the not the Hunt for Red October, but there was another one. That might be the one, the Hunt for Red October, where they're hunting a submarine. I think he was in that, or maybe that was Sean Connery. I don't remember. But Gene Hackman did play Lex Luthor, and I remember him being the one of the most down to earth villains, at least, like I said, whenever I was a kid. Now, I'm not sure, but I think he was in a movie with Dan Aykroyd, and I can't remember. I used to watch a lot of these movies, and after a while, you lose track. But as you can tell, I'm looking like a little ragged. I've been up all night. But at first, when Gene Hackman died, they thought it was carbon monoxide poisoning. I didn't know he had a heart monitor put in, or a pacemaker. And the doctor said, well, if there was anything wrong, it would alert him. His wife died, I think they said 10 days before him from hantavirus. I don't know what that is, but it sounds pretty nasty. But now reports are coming out where people have seen them days earlier, and they were happy as can be. Um, Gene Hackman, though, like I said, I never had an opinion about him. I was always neutral about his work. He was one of them guys that could either be really good or really bad, but I didn't grow up in the generation where his movies were really booming. I think in the 90s, in the late 90s, early 90s, late 90s, I think his career was coming to a slow crawl. I think his last movie, like I said, in the 80s, the one I remember him for was Lex Luthor, I remember. And he was in a string of other films, but I just don't know him that well. I don't know his work that well to really comment on it. And people at work are like, "Hey, dude, talk about Gene Hackman." Well, I don't really know much about him. I know more, and it's sad. I know more about Denzel Washington. I know a ton about Robert De Niro's work because he worked with Scorsese. But Hackman, I never really paid attention to, and I guess I should. Um, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, I feel kind of awful because I knew the guy from some movies, just not as well as others. You asked me today, who would I feel sorrier for if they passed away, knowing that I knew the actors based on that alone? Probably De Niro. De Niro or Joe Pesci or Al Pacino. Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in there too. The top guys. Top dogs. I'm even partial to Van Damme's work. I know his work pretty well. Steven Seagal, I liked his work until he defected from Russia, and his movies are on Tubi a lot. And I only watch the old classics. Mark for Death, Out for Justice, Above the Law. All the way up until he made was that On Dangerous Ground, where he was the oil guy that then turned against the oil company in Alaska. Yeah. Van Damme I like a little better, I think. I love his movie Double Impact. I thought that still to this day is one of the best 90s action movies come out of Hollywood, I think. At least that's my opinion, but Die Hard's still the king of the action movies. But my most favorite actor of all time is Bruce Willis. And I see pictures of him and I watch videos of him, and this dude is just not even a shell of what he used to be. And I love the guy. I used to idolize Bruce. Bruce was that dude that had everything going for him in every movie you watched him in. He could play a complete psycho, you know, or he could play a guy that you believe doesn't want to do things but is forced into doing them, like in the Die Hard movies, or he could play somebody you feel sympathy for, like Butch Coolidge in a short little story in Pulp Fiction, The Watch. In that movie, that story basically went through every type of scenario really quick, and it showed you basically angles you'd never know. You know, Bruce. I mean, he's a versatile actor, is what I'm trying to say. Um, but yeah, I really feel like I'm running on no sleep, guys. But I just wanted to give you an update. I know my hair is a mess. I look like crap, and I really wanted to go back to work today, but um, that wasn't going to happen. And I was reading, because I read a lot of crap on my phone coming up, that there's going to be a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's going to be called Texas Chainsaw Legacy. And I'm sitting here thinking that the last movie really, really crashed and burned and bombed hard. And I gave you my thoughts on that. But I know Fade Alvarez has redeemed himself with Alien Romulus, and I really love that film. I really think it's great. But I don't know about this new Texas Chainsaw Legacy movie. There was no No indication, no spoilers, but I would hope that it retreads on the classic or does away with some of the sequels or even gets rid of that last one we had last year or a couple years ago on Netflix. I really think, and I know a lot of people like that movie, and it's baffling to me because from someone who's enjoyed, the 70s movie, even the one Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, you know, even 3, I'll even give Leatherface a 3, or even, you know, even the prequel, Leatherface. I'll give all them a shot. Even that one I can't think of the name of, where Leatherface is the guardian of that girl, and you find out at the end. It's the one where the original cast members are, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Texas Chainsaw 3D, I think it's called. I'll even give that one an okay, but the new one on Netflix just sucks. But I didn't come on here to talk about that. But yeah, Gene Hackman, he'll be missed. And it's a shame because, going by some of the movies that I've seen him in, he's quite good. He really is. He's a good actor. Um, and there's been a lot of talk about where I work at. It's been in the news publicly. I I've had to hear everything. As you know, the government's trying to cut costs by eliminating, wasteful spending. Somehow they targeted where I work. Now, I'm not a federal employee, but I'm a contracted employee, and sitting back from and we even made the news. We even made the news a couple of times. And you know what's sad is that when people don't look at specifics, you know, like somebody can drive past your house and go, "Oh, it ain't nothing." Then when they open the door, they see you got furniture, they see it's a home, and they say, "Oh, there's something there." That's basically the same thing that happened to where I work. People assume we take an elevator to work. Yeah, I got news for you. That ain't going to happen, and that doesn't happen. But I don't want to get too deep into that because, and it just baffles me that somebody who doesn't know or has never been can be so quick to judge, and that's all I got to say about that. So, I want to tell you about a video game I've been playing, guys, lately, and it took me by surprise, and it's a fun little deal, and I had to pry myself away from it because maybe you guys would check it out too. I don't know. So, last night, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm burned out, and I look on Game Pass. And I see there's all these games, these Yakuza games, right? So I noticed in the store there's a new one coming out, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, something like that, right? I'm like, this must be big. They made a whole ton of them, right? So I download the demo, Pirate Yakuza. But before I do that, I download Yakuza Like a Dragon because it looked cool, it got good reviews, whatever. It's a turn-based RPG, Japanese gangster sort of game that hooks you. And the combat is fun, even though it's turn based. It's fun. It does not feel like it. My wife sat here and watched me play it a little bit this morning. So then I downloaded Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii, whatever the hell I just said. This one's a more hack and slash, and I'm on the fence about getting it because I cannot put the stupid thing down. Now, I have never played anything like this, but I can't stop wanting to play it. I mean, between that and Diablo and everything else, it's addictive. And it's also very fun. In the pirate game, you actually can go to a coliseum and you can board on a pirate ship and take down other pirate ships. And I know what you're thinking. It's probably going to be done in a stupid way. Actually, it's not. It's very fun. And once you get the pirate ship down to nothing, you can actually board and have giant sword fights like you used to see in these 1900, 1920s, 1930s pirate movies where everybody gets on board, knocks everybody out, takes the ship out. It's great. But in addition to that, I roamed around Hawaii in this game for a little bit and I beat up about 10 gangs. And when you're in the middle of a fight, you can walk around and grab things like bicycles. You can hunt down criminals. I mean, it's almost like that old game, the True Crime Streets of LA. And I love the crap out of the game, and I hope they remaster that. But it's great. So I'm on the fence of getting it because it's easy, it's fun, it's mindless, and honestly, it's a great game. I mean, just if you want to have some fun. But I really enjoy it. I've been having a lot of fun with it. As far as movies go, I've been going back into the old 70s horror movies. I mean, there's something different about those than current horror movies. I am psyched, though, very psyched to see The Monkey. That, if you guys don't know anything about that, it's based on a short story, which I think I covered last video. Um, it looks pretty wicked, but I'm waiting until you can pre-order it on Amazon, and I think you could, because I think the rule is if a movie's out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and it's brought to Amazon, it's fine. Um, Nothing other than that. Like I said, I'm running on zero sleep. I know I look like crap. A lot of people are probably at work asking people where I'm at. And basically, I got hit with some really nasty virus that I think has put me down. And I hate getting sick. I really do because, like Thursday, I went to work with the intention of going to work, finishing the job, coming home, and making it a normal week. And I get there, and I'm no sooner there, like an hour, and I'm throwing up. And I'm like, okay, dude, this never happens to you. What the hell's going on? And I don't know. It was embarrassing to leave work like that, but I didn't want to stick around and get anybody sick. And it it just sucks. It sucks in a way because you have to curtail plans. You're not as strong as you were, and like I said, look at me. I've gotten no sleep. You know, but I want to thank the people in charge of my company because they was cool about it. And I know management's always cool whenever you're sick or something like that, but these guys are really cool. And I got a doctor's appointment Friday. We're gonna see how that goes. Nothing else. I haven't really watched anything. The last drive-in on Shutter has been renewed. I missed that. Apparently, they showed the Phantom of the Opera, and I don't know what else. So check that out. Joe Bob is back on the air, and I haven't had a chance with me being sick. I almost forgot it was there. Just like the other day, I wrote my buddy and says, "Hey, can you get me this MLW pay per view?" And he's like, "Dude, it was already on." I'm like, "What?" So I'm not fully coherent here. But I hope you guys are doing better. I hope you guys don't get what I got because this shit really sucks. I'm telling you right now, it sucks. I probably look like hell. I know I feel like it, but I'm glad that I'm not throwing up all over the place. I'm glad I can able to eat because I got some food in there I'd like to try eating. You know what I mean? So this weekend, I don't know. And then of course we got the time change coming up. And if y'all don't know, man, switch your clocks ahead and it mess everybody up. I left the couch here last night. I thought it was 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. So I went in the bedroom and here it's 6:45 p.m. I'm like, what? That just sucks. That means it's gonna be light an extra hour, which is cool. but it messes your time frame up because you're so used to looking outside and going, "Oh, it's 5 o'clock. It's dark outside." So it's gonna mess a lot of people up till they get used to it, and I don't know what they're gonna do. But check that out. And in the meantime, I don't know. I said Street Trash was a pretty cool film. I reviewed that last time. I don't know what I'm gonna review this time. Vinegar Syndrome. They got a lot of good stuff. Check them out. Underworld Subroxa, check them guys out if you like gory horror films. They got some really gory crap, but you got to see through it. Unearthed Films. Unearthed Films is they got a new movie with Malcolm McDowell dropping called Evelenko. Check that out. About based on the Andre Chikatilo murders where he murdered a bunch of kids. I try to get my hands on that. I don't know. Um, Also, they finally released. I don't know if I told you guys. They finally released Trick or Treat in 4K Blu-ray, and I got my copy coming. So I hope you jump on it. And if you don't know anything about it, that's a really cool 80s sort of cheesy horror film that has Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons. No, not in the same scene, but they're in the same movie. Ozzy plays a rambling drunken preacher, which is only on the screen for a few seconds. Gene Simmons plays a DJ. And that guy from Family Ties, Mark Price, he plays Skippy. He is in the lead. He was in a couple of them. He was in a movie, and the guy that played Nick was in a movie called My Demon Lover. So it seems like after the show, because the show was so squeaky clean, they wanted to get a little violent with it, and they did these projects. Trick or Treat involves a heavy metal singer who basically gets burned alive and somehow comes back through airwaves and wants to slaughter everyone in a concert. Very cheesy, very, very cult following like deal. Trick or Treat is an amazing film, and it's a lot better than some of the stupid crap you get now. My Demon Lover, though, I haven't seen that. But the guy that played Nick was also in another film, horror film, Dead Time Stories. So check that out. Very early in his career, probably prior to Family Ties or during it. Not sure which. You guys know him. He played Nick on the show. He was Mallory's boyfriend, and everything. So yeah, just a couple of new release or old movies coming out. Some of those old movies, guys, are really hard to find. Like Don't Look in the Basement, or The House of Seven Corpses and all that kind of stuff. Really good stuff, and it's just hard to find. Or you go on Screambox and you can watch, you know, like the Meat Cleaver Massacre or something like that. You know, but a lot of those horror gems are hidden, in the '70s, and that's what's crazy. I still can't remember the movie. I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I've been thinking about this a lot, and I tell you guys everything. So whenever I was about 5 or 6, I was over. I was in my house and I was watching TV, and I can't remember if it was on Scream Theater or what. It was in the afternoon, so I know it was on Saturday because that's the only time they aired Scream Theater, right? Which I can't find any record of. Scream Theater was great. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. But it was this movie, and I don't even know what it was, but it was this movie where this girl was going through this, I want to say, like really, upscale cabin. They had fireplace, and the thing was all silver. They had a silver mirror on it, and she was being chased by this dude, right? And when the camera turns into the hallway, there's this dude. He's in a Santa Claus suit, Santa Claus hat, but with a skull mask, right? And his eyes, like, they look like darkness. Like there was no eyes there. And it just a skull grinning, and he had this giant axe, and he swung it at this girl. And when he swung it, she ducked, okay? And the mirror got smashed behind her. And the detective, who I guess was tracking this guy, shot this Santa Claus dude. And she ran over to him and grabbed him, and she's like, "Is it over?" And she had tears rolling out of her face. He's like, "Yeah, that was the killer." And I cannot find that movie anywhere. I don't even know what it's called. It's not Silent Night, Deadly Night, which keeps bringing me to it. It's not Don't Open No Christmas. And I don't know what it is. And I've been racking my brain trying to figure it out because I can see the scene burned into my head, you know. That scene and the scene from Ghost Story Circle of Fear, where the guy goes out into the wintertime, turns around, and then there's that girl's skeleton, all frozen, reaching for him. Very creepy scene, very, very non CGI, very old school, very, shocking. Those are the two scenes that have been burned into my brain. That and when, dude in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom took the heart out, and it's beating, it's catching on fire. Those three three scenes are somehow stuck up in here just doing a revolution. And I can't find that movie anywhere. And if you guys know what it is, please let me know. And there was no record of Scream Theater anywhere. So I don't know if that was just a Pittsburgh thing or one channel thing or whatever. And then they used to do Haunted Hollywood, which was Saturday nights. Well, Friday night into Saturday, and it was like around like 12 to 2:30 in the morning, and they used to show double features, like The Invisible Woman or, The Blob, and they used to have the Hollywood sign, right? And it was all dark, and it just said Haunted Hollywood, and it ran through a couple of these mansions that looked decrepit. And it was a good show, and I wish they would put that on DVD, because again, I can't find that, but I remember the last one that I saw was The Invisible Woman. And I don't know if you can go backtrack it to find it, but I used to watch that like you wouldn't believe. I used to stay up late, on Saturdays and have TV down low, be watching Haunted Hollywood. And just like after Saturday Night Live, you had the, what was that called? It was a comedy show. It was improv comics or something. It was like live from the Comedy Store. They used to have all these comics. But if they didn't have that, they had a sketch show on. And I saw a sketch called McDahmer's Kitchen one time. Making fun of Jeffrey Dahmer. Showtime at the Apollo. That's what it was, I think. I can't remember none of this stuff. What the shows are, I just remember seeing them. But they took that off the air too. They don't have that on no more. So all the old school shows that I grew up on are now gone. I like to know where they went. But yeah, if you guys know what movie that is, just text me and see what's up, because I don't know what it is, and I've been trying to find it for years. I can't find the stupid thing. So, but that's me. I just wanted to give you an update, talk to you a little bit. I know I look like hell. I'm gonna try to catch a nap, get something to eat, maybe lay on the couch and watch Gilligan's Island or something. I don't know. But check the Yakuza game. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. I might get it. Yeah, I got nothing else really. Just wanted to give y'all an update, let you know why I ain't there, and that I really miss y'all, and I hope you don't get to what I got, because this really sucks, and they should end it right now. They should just burn viruses. They should be able to fucking do something with them because they suck. So, peace.